I thought you weren't going to do that.
I know, it just came out.
Let's see the last part.
It just came out.
I'm like, yeah, there's some credit.
What's up, peeps?
Yeah. What's happening?
Hi. So today we got DG and we got Alias 3-Way over there. If he wants to give out his real name, he can do it. But you want to say what's up?
He ain't trying to say nothing already. He's like, Greg Lee, babe.
All right, so shout outs to our subscribers and commenters, Patty, Shez, Virginia, Franklin, and 9mm Hog.
9mm Hog.
I'm down with that, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that a new round?
It's like
right.
It came out after the 300 blackout. The 9mm Hog. It's just a big.
Hey, what is that? I've seen a bunch of stuff on it now. It's like when you stick a one of those rounds in your buddy's 223.
Oh,
you ever seen some of that on there?
No.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, damn, dude, why would somebody do that to their buddy?
That wouldn't be a good joke to play on.
No, not at all.
So basically, we've been friends. We see it 40 years, man.
Yeah, I mean since like preschool, right? How many people can say that these days? You know, other generations.
I don't know, and we got a few of them. I mean, Weller, Flory,
Eric.
I've
known Eric since kindergarten, and Fraser, you gave me chicken pox in first grade.
Yeah. We were also twins on Twin Day. We were both Popeye. I remember that shit.
What?
Nichols? Yeah. Nichols is another one,
Jeff,
dude.
yeah, I've known Jeff.
I remember Nichols since Fairsight.
Yeah.
I remember Flory since preschool. Weller, too.
Well, we had Valley Okies. That's why, because we were Fairsight and there was Valley Okie guys.
Yeah, all that bullshit. It's funny how tribal... Everybody thinks like the world has gotten more tribal. It's been that way. So.
Yeah,
It's nothing different. We're the same animals we were 500 years ago. We just have the internet and cars now.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. It's out there more, so people think, oh, it's getting worse. No, it's been that way the whole time.
Well, I think what it is too. Like I had this conversation with a lady, my lady. You know, when we were kids, our thing was you had to come back home when the fucking lights came on.
Yeah, the
street lights, right?
Yeah.
But during that whole time, you didn't call, you didn't text, you didn't. There was no encounter between the parent and the child. You just said, "Hey, I'm going uptown."
Yeah.
Or I'm going to Liebig's or whatever. You know.
Hey, we're gonna go ride bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I saw the other day online? It said, "This is how you used to tell where everybody was at." And it was a bunch of bikes laying in someone's front yard.
Yeah.
That's so true, man.
And in Galt, too, you could drive around and find out where they were, too, because it wasn't that big of a place.
This is the fucked up thing about it is the parents, like us now, the parents of these kids now, we're helicoptering. We're the problem because we don't give them their freedom.
Yeah.
If you give them their freedom, you can get a hold of them on the phone anytime. You can put a tracker on their phone, know exactly where the fuck they're at.
Yeah, you can track them. Yeah.
But we're the problem. Parents are the problem today.
Well, and you know what? I think why that is, for me it is mentally, is you're so much more aware of the fucking crazy people that are out there, man, and the shit they'll do to your child if they have an opportunity.
Well, you know,
that's in my head all the time.
When we were kids, you know where the Fricos lived. You know where there was a Frico in the neighborhood. You know where that guy lived. But now you can look it up online, and it's like fucking 3 guys on the block.
Yeah. Fucking asshole moved in next door to me.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. So you want to chop? Let's just tell some stories about the old days, man.
Yeah.
Old days. Growing up in a small town.
Dude, right. And everybody, like I always say this, right? You used to walk uptown, and you had to wave all the time. Mm-hmm. Not that you had to, but it was like, you know, you waved because, oh, there's so-and-so. Oh, there's so-and-so. Now you walk around Galt or drive around Galt, and I don't recognize 99% of the people I see.
Well, there are a lot of transplants now, not a lot of OGs, you know.
They wanted to get out of Sacramento or Stockton.
Or they came in from the Bay Area.
Or, because it's cheaper, and they're like, oh, I'd rather commute than pay $2,500
even now, like what's going on now with the COVID, people are, they're working from home. And companies are saying, you don't have to come in, you can work from home. And they're like, well, if I can work from home, I'm going to move to the Valley where prices are less.
Yes.
And take my Bay Area wages with me, sell my Bay Area house, take that money and my wages and move and
buy someplace outright.
Can't blame them for that.
No, you
can't.
It's like,
who wouldn't want to do it that way?
Get away from the Bay Area, the crowded traffic, pollution, and everything that's going on there, and get to the Valley where it's Well, it's still crowded and polluted and a lot of traffic, but not as much.
Not near as bad. Yeah.
But we had icons, and we did shows on the icons. We used to have like Rick and Gary, or Sonny Boy, or I Got a Roach.
I don't know if you'd call them. Oh, okay. You said icons. Okay. Yeah.
Like I call iconic people.
Yeah,
And,
like.
Yeah.
Well, we
Like
went-
if you looked up Galt, like a history book of Galt, that's what it would be. Rick and Gary run. Dedicated to Rick and Gary.
Sonny Boy Ross.
Dude, you could walk into the Pizza Palace any time of the week and Sonny Boy be propped up in a fucking
Yeah.
stool there. Yeah, I remember him.
Hey, cool story about Sonny Boy, because I worked at Pizza Palace,
Yeah.
and the guys in the bar would fuck with him, and they'd hold out a $10 bill, and they'd hold out a hand of change.
And he would always take the change.
He'd always take the change, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it because I was a kid. I said, Sonny, why don't you take the $10, man? He said, first time I take the $10, they'll quit doing it.
Yeah, they'll quit. Yeah, he was thought he was. Yeah, he let
He was
them
getting
think he
over
was
on
stupid.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because if I take the bigger amount, then they'll know I've caught on. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because he's like, they can laugh. I'm gonna have a free beer. You know?
Exactly. Do you guys remember the old guy that used to have? It was either a donkey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
with
cart.
stuffed
And he
animals.
had that cart and he had flags. And,
Yeah.
and his little dog used to sit up behind him and
Yeah.
he'd come down Lower Sacramento Road and someone hit him, right?
Yeah,
Someone-
he got hit once, and then but he didn't
Came
get
back,
killed. Then he
yeah.
came back and rebuilt the car or something. But
Yeah.
then I guess he got wiped out again several years later.
Yeah.
That was the end of him. Yeah.
You know, he held the Forest Lake record until Mitch Harrison broke it.
The
Golf record, yeah.
No way. He held that course record.
Yeah, I think it was a 63, and I think Mitchie shot a 61 there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that
was like wasn't that course like a par 60 something? 66?
I'm gonna say it was a 70.
No, maybe back then it was.
Yeah.
Maybe back then, but I remember playing there and I thought, man, I shot pretty good. And because I just started golfing, and then I looked at what par was. I was like, oh, never mind.
I don't think they had par 5 until they changed 13. They made it into over by the railroad tracks.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But now it's Great Vineyards.
It is too. Man, it didn't. Who was it from? Wasn't it someone from the 49ers family or 49ers?
Randy
player?
Cross.
Right, that he owned, or he bought it for his brother,
Yeah.
right? And paid for it for his brother.
Or maybe it was Bill Ring. That sounds more right.
I can't remember the name. I'm horrible at remembering shit. Like you guys will bring up names, and I remember the name.
Yeah.
I can't put a face to it.
I'm the opposite. I remember faces, and I don't remember their names.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a dong, man. None of us are touching it.
You're supposed to have
my
a dong there,
foot just slipped off.
Oh, did it?
but you're not gonna hear that on the recording.
Well, we were having fucking breakfast this morning, though, and I was talking to Liebig, and there's an old boy sitting at the counter,
Oh, yeah.
and everybody calls him Sneaky, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what brought that up, is because up here in the hills, it's kind of like Old Town Galt. Like,
That's why I moved up here, man. I miss that small town feel. Like
you did right, man. I wish I moved up here a long time ago.
And it didn't add that much time to drive where I was going to work,
I don't care about the drive now. I'm like, fucking...
It's a nice drive.
Yeah, it's not
You know,
bumper to
it's-
bumper.
It's not. Yeah, you're not commuting in traffic.
Right. You get a little.
This morning was a little foggy, but
Or fog, or you get a boat or a tractor or something. That's
Yeah, you
nice.
get stuck behind a rig or whatever. But
that's normal for around here, though.
But
Right.
I remember driving from Galt to Sacramento to go to work, and some days it would take 45 minutes just to go from Galt to Sac, dude. And that's because it's bumper to bumper traffic, an accident, or some shit like that.
especially right there when you first get into Sac. What is that road? The first cutoff road.
Or Mac.
Mac.
Cowboy, yeah.
It is
Up by
Mac.
47th and that area when you first get
Well, and then you get dead at farther
deeper
in there.
into like Fruit Ridge and
Yeah, it was just like it was a funnel. I hate that shit.
Yeah, man.
I hate the city.
Shit changes, though. I mean, that's just the way it's going to happen. We're getting older now, dude.
Yeah.
I mean...
Like yesterday, me and my son were out front, just cleaning some stuff up and doing some projects, right? And the guy pulls in, hey, what's going on? And he had stopped by before, He just stopped by the bullshit. He's like, hey, you still got because he seen me building my daughter's truck.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you still got some of those bed parts and stuff left over? And I said, I sure do, man. I said, it's gonna be a long time before I get to him to do anything
With them, yeah.
Why you interested? Because he's got a '72 Chevy himself, and I was like, would make me an offer or whatever. I said, I know what they're worth. I know what it's worth and stuff, but I ain't looking for that. If you can get some use out of it, get some use out of it. And while we were standing there, literally 6 cars drove by within 20 minutes, and every one of them waved. You know, like, hey,
Oh yeah,
like,
hey, what's up? I seen it when I'm out at
Yeah.
your house too.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a cool thing.
You're the corner guy too, so you see everybody that
I'm the
comes in and
first
out.
house
Yeah.
everybody sees, and the fire department drive by, and they always wave. You know, it's what golf used to be.
Well, I was thinking this lady, the waitress that we had this morning, she went on vacation to Bodega Bay, and she was just talking about how much of a difference it is in the bay or coastal area than it is living up here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's insane difference. It's a
You-
different world.
You seen it? There wasn't anybody had a mask on today up here.
Yeah, I
You
haven't
seen
seen any masks all day. Well, I mean, we didn't go that many places, but
Yeah.
nobody was
Right.
wearing a mask in there at all. Yeah.
Right, but even just driving through town, people walking in and out of the little gas stations and stuff like that. It's like no mask and stuff.
Yeah, because I got. I can't tell that story, but
Okay.
I got in trouble for not wearing a mask at a gas station. They wouldn't let me buy gas, dude.
They wouldn't. Did you?
That's
go
what
in
I'm saying.
Did you go in to pay?
Yeah,
for
there was
it?
something wrong with the ATM
Oh,
thing.
so
Yeah.
you had to go in.
Yeah, and I'm like, because normally I pay out there. I don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
But now I got to come in. I got to wear a mask, and now I can't buy gas because I don't have a mask. It's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, I'm so tired of all this shit.
And there's an NBA player that just got fucked off because he went to his sister's birthday party, and it was more than 15 people.
So they made him quarantine.
Kyrie Irving, that's who it is.
Oh, is that? Oh, really?
Yep.
There's a
Come on, man.
I don't get it. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk COVID numbers real quick.
I'm down.
Okay.
I Leva was spitting some good ones earlier.
Yeah. So like you said, it's a virus, right?
Yeah.
And you have a 99.9%
Survival rate.
rate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if how accurate that is, but yeah,
Right.
I mean, look at, it's got to be like what, about 5% or less of the people are getting it.
They're even getting infected with
They're
it.
even getting it, and then of the 5% that are getting it, how many people are getting seriously sick and dying from it? Not to take away from the fact that people are getting seriously sick and dying from it,
Yes.
and they're also getting the lung damage. I mean, how many? That's what the one thing that I don't know about at all. How many people are having the long-term lung damage?
That'll come up later and make
yeah,
it worse. Yeah.
because I just saw something yesterday. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but it was like pictures of regular lungs versus pictures of people with COVID lungs, and there is some damage, and it's lifelong. You're not going to go
It's
back.
not going to repair itself.
No. So, I just, maybe I should pay more attention. I don't, but I don't worry about it because I'm, like I said, how many people are getting it? How many people are getting seriously sick with it?
Right.
I'm not worried about it. I don't have a problem wearing a mask. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either.
I just do it because
I have a
it's
problem with the testing for it because you've seen apples, dogs, trees, all kinds of different things show up positive for COVID for the test. So, dude, check it. It's not bullshit. The guy, president of Africa or the king of Africa did that shit.
Yeah.
Elon Musk did it.
Africa has a king now.
Dude, they have a king, bro.
You might want to fact check that. But yeah, we'll just go with that.
Look at his face.
You can't even keep his fake face while he's saying it.
The king of Africa.
But anyway,
Dude, I seen Coming to America, bro. I know what's going down.
I knew that was coming.
aren't they about to redo
A
that?
new one, yeah.
Is it a sequel or are they redoing it? I thought it was a sequel.
I think it's a sequel.
I think it's a
No,
sequel
yeah,
with Eddie
you're right.
Murphy and-
They're not redoing the original.
Brandon
They're-
Jackson.
Oh,
Who's it? The luscious sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate.
Randy Jackson. I don't know.
Dude, it's been so long since I've seen that. I don't even know.
Dude, they don't make movies like that anymore, bro.
Nah. A lot of retreads now, man.
Yeah.
Man.
They're doing Big Trouble in Little China.
Are they really?
Yes.
How the fuck can you do that,
Oh,
dude?
And that one they're gonna
No,
redo
no,
it.
no,
It's not
you
gonna be like a continuation.
No, there's some movies you just gotta leave them alone.
Just leave
man.
them be. Yeah.
And the good part of those movies is like the old Sinbads. When we were a kid, when they did Sinbad, remember he'd fight like a
Remember that.
3-headed tiger?
Yeah.
And you could tell it was like molded clay
Like
lion.
clay.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
fighting.
claymation
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's the cool shit.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you replace it with the dragon that scares me now, it's not as fuck cool.
I wish they do. I wish they do a series like they did. Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
You know, that long series like that,
Yeah.
but of the Odyssey. A
Oh
modern,
yeah,
the
that
modern
would be
Odyssey.
a great,
Yeah, the
a
old
great,
Greek mythology
like,
and all
you know,
that.
3 movies or a series or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Oh
good.
man, we spun off. Huh?
Yeah, let's go ahead and clean it up because I got a topic we can go into right there.
We had to what?
Well, a lot of Greek mythology
Oh, you want to get
some of we're getting into conspiracy theories.
Okay.
And stuff, but
Okay.
you see, like I was saying, there was a what is it called? Tsunami. There was a tsunami in India that happened, and it uncovered a fucking city that was like 60 feet off of the coastline.
Uh-huh.
And they're saying that's where this battle took and occurred in the Mahabharata, like their Bible.
Yeah.
So it basically put a place and a date, making what was said in their Bible true, right?
Oh, so they found proof of stuff that was historically written that they weren't sure
Exactly.
was true.
That kind of stuff keeps happening where they'll find. I mean, they keep finding these mythical cities that they didn't know existed, and now all of a sudden they found Troy. Forever, all of our lives, the Trojan War was all a myth. No one knew it really existed. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, they found an ancient city, and they announced they're pretty sure this is Troy.
Is the city of Troy.
Yeah,
and
they do that all the time with other places. It's like it used to be a myth. Now they're finding out that it was real.
There's some reality to it.
I seen one where because I watch all the conspiracy stuff because it's true. First of all, but
no matter what,
there was
if it's a conspiracy, folks, it is true.
It's a real TV, dude. But they were doing giants, and they found a fucking chalice. They thought it was a bowl. Like a bowl type thing for fruit and shit.
Yeah.
It's a holy grail.
It was a chalice.
Is that where you're going with
and it said Goliath on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh no shit.
Yep.
I have heard that and stuff like that. They have. There was something else like that. There was something else that had a name on it. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was a name that they had
historical
maybe that's
reference.
what I'm thinking of or
It was
something. But
Goliath,
yeah, I do.
yeah.
That's familiar. I remember hearing.
And then another cool one was it's a military story where they're in Afghanistan. It's a fucking 14-foot red-headed giant they had to fight.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I dig
It was
that
like in a
shit
cave
too.
or something.
Yeah, in a
like
cave,
that.
yeah. And there was human remains all around the place.
Yeah.
And he gave them warnings and shit, but it took 6 of them to fucking take him down, dude.
Ancient Aliens, folks, watch it.
Oh, I got deep into that series, and my wife was like, "Do you believe this shit?" I said, "Not all of it, but there's some unexplainable shit."
Dude, tell me, okay, you seen those places where they fucking put a 150-ton stone on top of another 150-ton stone with no
mortar. It's been there for thousands of years, and
The pyramids,
like we can't explain it right now. Yeah.
There's still the pyramids. They say that the ancient Egyptians built them, and now there's offshoots saying they've been there longer. They've
Way
been there
older than
10,000
yeah.
years, 15,000 years, or whatever.
Well, the Sphinx. They said that was redone.
It's been redone
because it was a lion and they carved it into the Sphinx head.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Personally, I kind of believe that stuff because I mean, I remember I did a report on Egyptology and stuff like that in 6th grade. And I've been into it since I was a kid. I've loved that stuff.
Yeah.
In the pyramid, they always say that the pyramids were the tombs for Khufu and what other rulers they had there.
Pharaohs.
They never found any mummies or anything in there. They have very little evidence to show that they were actually tombs. Or anything. I think there was something else personally because of if you do the research and know about the technology, they actually had technology.
They used water. The water flowed in.
Yeah, there are passages and tunnels and little things all around there that like water moves in. Like there's one theory that they were some sort of power plants.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard that.
The obelisks, and they went Wi-Fi power from obelisk to obelisk.
This guy said Wi-Fi.
Dude, that's what they had. And you see
ancient Egyptians had Facebook and Match.com.
Grinder.
Oh no.
That reminds me, I tried to sign Weller up for Grinder, dude, but he already had an account.
Yeah, wasn't it like a gold
Gold star,
already?
dude. Gold star account, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Stupid.
Hey, this is the other trippy shit about that, and you guys know because you watched Ancient Aliens, but you take the way they made the pyramids, and you have them in like Machu Picchu, you have them in Indonesia, you have them 15,000 miles apart from
Las
each other.
Vegas,
Mexico, the Yucatan,
the
Las
Amazon,
Vegas.
Antarctica. Antarctica got a pyramid, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Big motherfucker, dude.
There's one in Antarctica. China's got some that are covered in
mounds.
dirt and mounds of trees growing. No, they're just hills. They're hills, and you look at them and it's like
no.
those are perfectly triangular, like sculpted. The gods came down and sculpted those themselves. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing.
The water naturally did that.
Yeah, right. The wind just.
Why is China so secretive about fucking everything, dude?
China, North Korea, those countries over there. There's something happened a long time ago. It made them not trust the rest of the world or something.
Some shit.
Because they got all the real shit. They got the aliens. They got Bigfoot. They got all that shit under the lock, bro. That's why they're so secretive.
Okay, see, that statement right there is what makes everybody else go, yeah, fuck that. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to throw them on my trail, GG.
I know you are. I know what you're doing, but like really, I can see like some truth within some of these stuff, but then it just goes so fucking far that I'm like, okay, I've checked out.
So let me ask you what happened when they showed the 3 videos, right, on TV a couple years ago, about aviation officers in the military, and they have these videos tracking UFOs.
Oh, you're talking about the
the gimbal and the Tic Tac videos and all those, yeah.
So obviously they're trying to tell you, hey, there's aliens, but still there's people like, no.
No, there's something we can't.
Well,
explain.
here's the thing about that. I mean, honestly, there's something we can't identify. Okay, what proves that are aliens? I mean, why is it aliens? Why is it somebody from another planet? That's I mean, you know, guys, know how I'm into this stuff.
So you're saying
everything.
You're saying I've always inner Earth.
I'm saying we don't know. I'm saying you can't look at something and go, I don't know what that is. It has to be from another planet. Right. And that's what I hear all the time. Yeah. It has to be from another planet. Why? I mean, I'm not saying it's not. Right. Most likely it is. But, and like I said, you guys, I mean, I'm into this shit. You know, I have a I Want to Believe poster on my wall. You know, right. I've had that forever.
X-Files. Cool.
X-Files is my favorite show. You know, I'm into that stuff. But there's very little, there's evidence, but there's also a lot of stuff that can be blown away. And there's very, people always say, well, there's proof. No, proof is proof. Proof is the video of Danny shooting you. He killed him, you know.
What about those Nazca mummies? Have you seen those? The Nazca mummies?
The what?
The mummies from Nazca.
Yeah.
Alien. They're little. There's little ones like this big, like 3 foot tall, less than 3 foot tall.
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking of I'm trying to remember exactly Nazca mummy. I know there's old ancient mummies.
They have
desert
they have elongated heads. They have fingers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and they I mean, we have Russia, Australia, France, United States, Colombia. They're all scientists testing that shit individually.
Yeah.
And they come up with the same shit. We don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, and then some of them will try to dismiss it as it was a disease, a deformity disease, or that they purposely wore stuff to shape the child's head like that.
Because some people did back then, so they'll say, well, that's just what they were doing. You know, that's their simple explanation for everything.
Right, they'll just want to write it off like that.
Yeah.
But then also they think that they wanted to be more like something else they had already seen.
Well, one thing about those too is a lot of those heads, some of them that he's talking about, the brain cavity is larger than what ours would be, what humans would be, even from back then. So, and there's no way to make it larger by doing what they did to elongate them, because it would make it narrower. So the capacity stays the same, and these skulls have a larger capacity than what our heads do. So there is something there, you know.
Yeah,
but then, I mean, still, who's to say they're aliens? It could just have been another race of. If we evolved like they say we did, then there were Neanderthals and how many versions of them, and that could have been something else, some offshoot of it that broke off and
some other genetic
lived for a while, and something happened. And
you know, I like to believe the shit that the aliens were here and they started experimenting with try to make a perfect slave, and they used monkeys and they made like minotaurs, and they made all types of different kinds of creatures. And then once they figured out they got us, they saved a few of us, and they fucking wiped the rest of the planet out. They like started over again.
Got rid of all the old Neanderthals and the other versions.
I like this story though. Like, God's talking to Jesus, right? Yeah. He's like, "Hey man," Jesus comes in. He's like, "Hey Dad, they found dinosaur bones." God's like, "Fuck. How are we gonna explain this?" Jesus like, "I don't know, man. This one's on you." And he's like, "Give it to the Holy Spirit." Holy Spirit comes out. He's like, "Hey, I tell you what we do. We just flood the earth again.
Just
everybody forget, right?
Start it all again." That's crazy.
They can't do that now though, because there's too many boats out there.
Well, that's what
We're gonna be on Danny's boat. So.
Yeah.
Well, God tells me, he's like, well, I can't. We already did the flood thing, so he's like,
COVID.
I just don't want people. I just don't want people thinking I made giant lizards that I wanted to see fight each other and shit, And Jesus is like, oh man, that's a cool story though.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do that? Just build giant lizards to fucking fight each other.
Let them fight each other. So like
that sounds like a conversation that
No,
Jesus
that's,
and God really would have happened.
That's in a hidden book of the Bible called the Maccabees. That's no longer in there.
Yeah, that was in the
book of Maccabee.
Right? That's in the Jewish side, right?
I was just teasing, but the Maccabees is a real book.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We were just
don't YouTube that.
I know, right? So basically, what we were getting at was like conspiracies and how some portion of it can be true.
Yeah.
But then people go so far off the deep end, and start adding their own. Well, this is what I think, and this is what I think, and this is what I think, and that's what causes other people to check out.
Well, I'll check it like this COVID shot, right? If you check the conspiracy shit on the COVID shot, it tell you it has forever chemicals in it. It could give you autism or Alzheimer's.
Nano aluminum or something, right? Yeah. Or something. I've heard that.
And then I've heard it said that it has abortion fetus in the shot. But when I read up on that, it said that they used aborted fetal tissue to test. Testing it out. But then that gets turned into they put it in the shot, and now you're getting an abortion in you when you get a shot.
Yeah, see how people will spin stuff, dude, to make it evil.
But I don't trust the TV at all. I don't trust it, man, because I heard it said a long time ago.
Not since I saw Poltergeist, man.
I know shit.
Caroline. But they call it a program. Or back in the day, we're going to watch a program, right? And it's because they are programming you to think that way.
Oh, man, that's going on in our colleges right now.
Well, you can read up on the CIA shit about it, but they started with radio, the Ovaltine commercials back in the day.
Yeah.
They did subliminal shit in there, so you'd be like, man, I need to go buy some fucking Ovaltine. And then they did it in movie theaters in between intermission, like with the popcorn and the soda. Yeah. Let's all go to the lobby.
Well, that or slipping in a frame or two of a picture of a soda or a food.
Yeah.
So you don't really notice that you see it when you're watching it, but in your brain, all of a sudden you sort of think, a soda would be good right now.
Yeah, subliminal shit.
So they've been doing that with frequency, with pictures. They've been doing that shit forever.
They used to do that on Saturday Night Live.
Really?
The Subliminal Man, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Nealon.
Oh, that skit they used to do. I was like, what? Where'd you go?
That was back when Saturday Night Live was a comedy show.
Instead of political.
It used to be funny.
Instead of it's. You know what? I gotta admit though, it's still pretty funny sometimes.
They got some good ones.
I haven't watched it in so long.
I've watched it recently. I didn't watch it for decades, and then I watched some of it recently, and some of it's kind of funny.
I watched some of the Dave Chappelle skits when he was on, and I was like, I miss the old Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So much.
His stand-up though is really good.
You can't get away with that kind of comedy now because of the PC collective.
I think it depends on who you are. Because I think he
Bill Burr's close as you can get.
I think
Chappelle's still there too.
I think Chappelle, if he started doing that again, I think he'd get away with it.
Yeah, he did. He had that exact subject recently on his last special. Yeah, dude. I mean,
it's like everything else in society. The rules are for certain people and not for others. It depends on who you are.
You're right.
He'll get away with it, but somebody else wouldn't. I'm not just saying a black and white thing either. I'm saying you've got to be the right person, right personality. They've got to like you the right way, and then it's okay, and you can do.
Or I'm sure you guys have seen the memes because of what Trump said about the Capitol riots and shit. But then they bring out the stuff that like Biden, Harris, Pelosi said about the riots this summer.
Get in their faces. Yeah. Go over and scream at them while they're in the restaurant.
I was going to bring that one up. The one lady who said, if you see them out, whatever, go bother them.
Southern California.
Don't give them a minute of peace or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, specifically inciting for them to
and that's
to
okay.
Do that.
It's okay if you're on the left.
It's such a double.
But if
standard.
you're on the right, you're a terrorist.
Yeah. And then you know what's scary is they're a lot more powerful now.
Well, get back to conspiracy. So let me honestly ask you: you think there are aliens?
I think
that is hard.
Given the size of the universe, I mean,
that's where I was at. Yeah.
Given the size of the universe,
The numerical odds.
I mean, if you really have an understanding of it, like if you're somebody who's into this stuff, like we kind of like this stuff, you kind of have, other people don't really realize how large it could really be. Well, you have galaxies. I mean, they're just separate galaxies.
Yeah.
And there's billions and billions and billions of the galaxies. How could we possibly be the one little tiny rock and all these billions and billions of galaxies that has a bunch of assholes like us?
Right. The odds are there's other life.
Unless you're a super religious person and then God created us here alone.
Only by ourselves.
Yeah, and personally, I think there's a little bit of truth to all of it mixed in with a whole bunch of non-truth. And
good statement.
Sadly, one day, all too soon, we're going to find out the truth one way or the other. And that's as far as it goes for me.
Yeah. Numerically, the odds are... I don't have a doubt in my mind there's other life out there. Now, in what form it has taken, if it's... Because, okay, here's the way one person put it, right? And I can't remember who put it. But, okay, we started intelligent life within, what, the last...
4 billion years?
4 billion years, maybe. Well, what if that planet started life 20 billion years prior to us?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
they would be so much farther advanced.
If there are aliens visiting us from other places, then it would have to be something like that, where they're hundreds of thousands or millions of years ahead of us.
Yeah.
And not just technologically, but I mean, physically. What do you call it?
I know what you're talking about, like how they've
evolved to a higher
evolutionarily,
yeah,
way more advanced than we are. Yeah.
But then there's another trip when you get to quantum physics, or you do LSD, peyote, acid, something like that, right? Where you slip dimensions. Like they prove there's different dimensions, and then you have the space-time continuum deal, where, let's say 100,000 years ago, there was a T-Rex standing right here. You see what I'm saying? In this space and time. So there's a space-time difference.
It's still right here.
Yeah.
In a matter of speaking, it's still standing here right now, as we're sitting here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's big trips on that, but the biggest thing that made me think about it was in 1947, after the Roswell shit, right, man? You look at the last 50 years from 1947 to 1997. Those 50 years.
The jump in technology.
The technology, come on, man.
Yeah. How do you just take a giant leap like
plus, if you want to go on with that, when did it happen? Not long after we started detonating nuclear bombs. And that gave out a signal. They said, wait a minute, we're reading this signal. Let's go check these guys out and see what they're doing.
Yeah. You watched Unacknowledged?
I watched part of it. I didn't finish it.
There's a good part in there where all the nuke sites got shut down, and they shut them all down. So who did that?
It wasn't all of them. It was it was over Montana, the Air Force Base in Montana, where they had. It was at the time the only nuclear air unit in existence, and it was in the 60s. And they had a report of a UFO. I think it was 60s or 70s. They had a report of a UFO over it, and they were freaking out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, their missiles started going offline, and they were inoperable. I think they were taken offline, so they couldn't use anything or do anything to them. And it happened again
in London.
Yeah, it's someplace else,
like Burberry or Blackberry.
I know what you're talking about. They started to actually activate them.
Yeah, well, they were going offline, so they didn't have. The people there didn't have control of it, basically.
I remember that.
And then it did happen somewhere else. I don't remember the story. There's so much of it. And
one I'm thinking of and acknowledge, we have it going, the missiles going up, right, for a Star Wars test or whatever. And the spaceship comes in and it hits it like 3 different times.
I did see that video.
I remember that video.
I did see that a long time ago.
What is that? I mean, is that not proof?
It very well could be faked also.
Disinformation. There you go.
I mean, honestly, if you look at that, you've seen movies, you see what they can do.
Right.
That could have very easily, just like the gimbal video, and those other UFO videos. But I mean, they're acknowledging that they're real. But I'm just saying, all that, and here I go shooting down everything and making you not believe anything. Everything could be faked now. Look at the technology we have.
You're a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar, man.
Eric Aspera can make some really crazy shit with his video stuff and his computers, man. They can create aliens coming in here and sitting down and doing the show.
No, I've seen some really cool shit that they do with CGI and stuff like that, and I go like, man, that looks kind of real, but...
No, but I do know what video you're talking about. I have seen that,
Yeah, and I think it's on like Super 8 film or something. So I'm like, how do they digitally master that shit?
I've got an app on my phone that makes it look like you're taking video on.
Yeah, but that video
VHS
was
or
made.
Super 8.
That video was caught in the 70s.
Was it? Is that
the 70s or it was a long time.
Okay, well then that I don't
Yeah, it's not
remember.
a
I
recent
know
video.
I know I've seen the video, mate, and it's
Yeah.
been a long time because it's a vague memory, but I do know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
the rocket is taken out, and it literally comes up, boom, and it like hits it with something, and
Yeah.
then comes up and hits it with something, and it's totally disarmed.
Why it's going 10,000 miles an hour,
Right.
this thing's tracking it and staying right around it. That's awesome, dude.
We need to have a producer here who can be looking this shit up on YouTube while we're talking here.
Dude, we need
I know,
a young Jamie.
Or just like anybody that wants to come in a bikini, man or woman.
Man or woman.
Oh man!
Well, if you want to keep it to a one-man show, then yeah.
each week that you.
Okay, so we hit the UFOs, and I have no doubt. That,
So we were on conspiracies.
yeah,
Is what we were
but
on.
What about the Sasquatch, man?
Okay, here's the thing that makes me think there was something to that at some point. Is you ever heard of Gigantopithecus?
I think it's, yeah.
Okay, so that, and then also Native Americans talk about a large hairy man
Well,
that lived in the woods and stuff.
and
Yeah.
if you go to New Mexico, they talk about the big red people. They were like red-haired Sasquatch. You have Russia that has like a Yeti or a white
Yeah. They've got them all over.
There's a
They got them in
story.
China. They've got them all over the place.
Louisiana, they have the skunk ape,
Yeah, the skunk ape.
that
And,
kind of shit.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we live up here. You've been around here, man. If they're nocturnal, there is nobody out in that forest at night. There's nobody doing shit out there, man. So if a fucking deer, a bear could live out there, I have no.
I beg to differ because I think there's probably a few tweakers walking around out there.
Oh,
up here in this area,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some meth labs up there,
Oh,
some
dude.
illegal grows. I think there's a lot of stuff.
that's on
going
the north side of town, bro.
There is some foothill finagling
Yeah.
going on in the forest in the middle of the
But
night.
for myself, if a big bear or a deer or something like that can survive out there, I don't see why a Sasquatch couldn't.
You know what? I think there's something to it because so many people have seen something. There's just got to be something in the Native American stories of
Yes.
what they've said back or seen back in the day. There had to be at least something if there isn't now. But there's so many. I mean,
I know where you're going.
the ground, the area is so big that first of all, we're just not going to cover this whole area looking for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be a huge area up in the hills where there's no one for miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also caves underground that we don't know about. I mean, look at the cave systems that we do know about up here, up in Calaveras County and other places.
Yeah.
There's got to be some that we don't know about or offshoots of some of those caves. And I think that it's possible that there are around the world different areas like that where these things could be living and staying away from civilization. They know about civilization. They're intelligent, like
Yeah.
us.
Intelligent enough to know they need to avoid detection.
Right.
Is that-
Well,
is that
one of
it?
my favorite videos, it's the Mount St. Helens explosion, and it's on YouTube. You can check it out. It's like 29 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that when we were kids.
Yeah, it tells like it erupted, and there was ash in 7 states.
There was,
But-
I remember there being ash here and there.
I got an ash rock in my front yard that I took when I was up there.
But they talk from the military side of it, and it's all military guys telling their stories about they had like 5,000 elk, 8,000 deer that died.
Yeah.
All the animals that got flushed down and ruined with lava, with water and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about Sasquatch. They have like 18 Sasquatch bodies. And then they have another story where this old Indian goes with the military up to these caves where because they have a Sasquatch with them, and he's talking his language. The Indian speaks his language. It's a cool ass fucking video, man. Check it out.
I'd like to see that.
I'm not saying that you guys believe it, but I do.
Yeah. Okay, so back to Gigantopithecus, right? And they used to call it like a dog-faced bear. They said that's what took humans so long to inhabit North America, was because that thing was so prevalent and so vicious that they would get slaughtered by it. It took a long
Huge,
time
dude.
for them to.
So
They
what is
finally
it?
defeated them and beat them back, and now they're
Yeah,
the
exactly.
remaining ones are in hiding.
Well, think
You
about it,
never
man.
know, yeah. Or,
8
or
foot-
they
8
did
foot
finally
tall.
go extinct, or
Yeah.
or what, you know.
You're talking like 7, 8 foot tall, 600 pounds, 500, 600 pounds, dude. It's got a stride of what, 6, 7 feet. I mean,
Right. Yeah,
That's a
feet
big
like that.
animal, dude,
Yeah.
or human hybrid or
Whatever it is.
I just saw this picture yesterday, I think, on Facebook, and it was a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 70s when he was filming Conan or something. He was standing next to Andre the Giant and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger looked like me standing next to Danny.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, dude,
Even smaller. I mean, it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
I
I thought if one of us in that picture would have looked like a
No, my
little
mom.
G.I. Joe character or
Yeah.
something.
So when Arnold came to Galt, my mom was the lunch lady there, and she stood behind him, and she said he was only like 5'8" or 5'9", and he had
yeah.
he had shoes
Platforms.
on. He had shoes on. She said he was only about that tall, so he wasn't a big dude, man. But big.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was muscled up.
Yeah.
So I have a family story here, right?
Is it going to make me cry?
No.
Okay, good.
No, we
Can't
used to
have
make my tias and my tios and everything tell this story like every year back when families got together for the holidays, and but
Pre-COVID.
I remember those days.
so my family, the Garcia side, the Mexican side of my family is all from Texas, right? And this was at that time my father, I think they said he was like 8 or 9. My tia Janie, who's older, was like 12 or whatever. My tia Lena, they're all little kids.
Yeah.
And they used to go play wherever it was, but it was the way they described it. It was kind of an isolated area on the edge of town or whatever, right? And they'd go out in these fields or whatever and just play or whatever they were doing, right? You guys ever heard of? Well, I associated it with this as I got older. You ever heard of the Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds, yeah,
Thunderbirds.
man.
Okay, so and when my tia would tell this story, she's deeply Christian religious person, right? So telling a lie, knowing that as a kid, and
Yeah.
seeing the emotion on her face when she would tell this story. As a kid, I was like, "There's something to it." So they were out playing, and then they say that they saw this on the ground. When a bird flies in
Yeah.
the sun,
See the shadow,
you
yeah.
see the shadow, and they were like, "What the?" And they started running. And I'll probably hack this story up because I haven't heard the story in so long since I was a kid. But they took off running, and then it flew over, and they could see that it had no feathers. And the one thing she always remembers, because I was all into dinosaurs as a kid, right? The one thing she always remembers is that the back of its head had a long point back here, and it had a huge
Pterodactyl.
exactly, and it was featherless. And
Weird.
and they swear by it, and it flew over like that, and they were like, and they took off running the other way, and then it just banked and
See, Liebig's right. This would be a great time because they have pictures like from the 1800s of like 10 guys holding
Holding
the
that,
bird.
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I saw that too.
was that
Yeah.
like Civil War era?
There's multiple pictures of it
Yeah.
from different states, dude.
That's
I've
crazy,
seen
yeah.
that, and I don't know if that's real or
What do you
what,
do?
but I have seen those. Yeah.
It's so
I've also
suspect.
heard stories like that of the Thunderbirds, but and also saying you making a point of pointing out that they're featherless, but that they could have been actually like spaceships. Because back then, I mean, you see something flying in the sky, they didn't have flying aircraft,
Yeah.
so
A bird.
the only thing in the sky was birds. So everything they saw had to be a bird.
Right.
So they would see these, and I don't, like I said, it's been a while since I heard this story too, or anything about this stuff, because I haven't watched any of those shows or read any books or anything like I usually do on
Right.
this stuff for a while. But I remember reading and hearing stories of that where they ended up thinking that it was like a spacecraft after they kind of analyzed the story and everything. And some even said they were like metallic birds.
Uh-huh.
Like they were metallic looking.
And then they talked about certain noises that they heard when that animals don't.
Yeah,
do.
it sounds more like an aircraft flying
Yes.
overhead. or
Again, the
something, yeah.
Indians pay homage to the Thunderbirds on their totem
Yeah.
poles and stuff,
Yep.
and
So did Ford.
I hear so did the motel in Tahoe.
Oh,
Thunderbird and the wine.
Anyway.
But there was a.
Fucking good.
You guys listen to Coast to Coast AM?
Yeah,
with George
sometimes.
Norton. Yeah, so I was listening one night, and it was a park ranger in Tacoma, up in Washington, by Mount Rainier,
Uh-huh.
and he had got a call of a shepherd whose his flock was getting thinned out, and they thought it was a wolf or something. So this guy's up there with his fucking binoculars and shit, and he sees the sheep start spreading out, like from the inside out, like a circle.
Yeah, like they're trying to get away
Yeah,
from
so he
something.
fucking he fucking goes down in there and see what's going on. He gets in between the sheep, and he said there was a bird standing there. It was about 7 foot tall. It had an eyeball the size of a fucking softball.
Oh, like giant eyes.
Yeah, it looked at him like that. It grabbed a sheep with its foot and then put its wings out and took off. and he said its wingspan was 25 to 30 feet. Dude.
Well, to carry a sheep in one talon and still be able to fly off from the ground. I mean, you see them fly and they grab something and they still got momentum, but to take off
with something that heavy,
they would have to be huge.
Wow. But it sounded cool. It was a cool fucking story, man. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, I love hearing old stories from older family members, man.
Yeah. I know there's some truth to a lot of that stuff, and that's what's kind of really cool and interesting. So let's go up and hike and see if we can find some of these things.
Right. See something ourselves
at night.
I was talking about how we were talking about hiking later. Right. There's trails going up to the top of Mount St. Helens. You can hike up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of people getting stuck up there a lot, right, on Rainier and.
No, it's not. It's not really. No, it's not like going up Everest or anything.
Oh, okay.
No, it's. I've watched a video of a guy going up there. But yeah, you can. There's trails going up to the top of it. You can go around the rim and everything. Yeah,
oh, shit.
Yeah. I kind of want to go up there sometime and hike and do that because I've been hearing that there's been steam and smoke coming out of Mount St. Helens the last few years. Like maybe getting ready to erupt again sometime.
Like active.
Yeah, starting to be.
Isn't Tahoe still an active? It's an active volcano, isn't it?
No, you're thinking of Yellowstone.
Oh, Yellowstone, yeah.
That's a
Yellowstone's the big super volcano that's going to blow up, and
I just started.
That's what's going to happen. I'm surprised that didn't happen last year. I mean, everything else happened.
I know, right?
The end of 2020, I'm thinking the last couple of days, I'm going, Yellowstone's going to blow.
Yeah, something crazier is coming. Yeah, because it seems to keep just ramping up, right?
Yeah.
But conspiracy.
I guess that's a good roll into our next topic, man. Talking about a reset, man.
Oh, Nesara.
Gesara, that stuff coming up, man. Anybody can look it up. There's all kinds of conspiracies behind it, too.
Yeah.
But,
that was the first I heard of it talking about earlier.
Really?
Yeah, and
it's been around for a while, and they said the first time they tried to make it happen was when the Twin Towers got hit. And when the Twin Towers got hit, all that information fucking disappeared, too.
Well, they were talking about that, and here's the conspiracy part of it, right? That people purposely either allowed that 9/11 to happen or helped it happen in order to suppress this national economic reset.
Yep. And what it does, it basically removes all the debt. And what you can read about it, but what I translated into Fraser thought is like
bro verbiage.
When we had the North versus the South, we had
here we go.
We had colonial money and we had the Southern money, right? And it was the Confederate currency.
Okay.
It's no longer good. You can't buy shit with Confederate currency, right?
Have you tried?
No comment.
Oh, no.
But
you jammed him up on that.
Basically, that's what's going to happen to the dollar, man.
You can actually print your own money in this country, you know.
Yeah.
You can print your own money and have your own currency. There's a town on the East Coast somewhere. They have this little town actually prints their own money. When you go into town, most of their stores they take.
You have to exchange it. You have
to exchange it, and I saw it on that show with Henry Rollins.
Oh yeah, I dig him. Black Flag.
What was that show that he was on? It's on the History Channel. Sometimes it's like it's.
Yeah, he'd fucking fire tanks, guns, and shit like that.
Well, he goes around the country. There's been other people hosting the show too. He goes around the country, seeing stuff like this, and there's this town that they have their own money,
their own currency,
and you exchange it, and it just kind of helps keep money in that community. It helps the local economy.
Take it.
Yeah. So you buy their currency, and then you've got to spend their currency
within their
money.
city.
Yeah, because you're not going to take their money over here. And
it's no good
spend
anywhere
it.
else.
Yeah, it's not, right. So it helps their little town. And I don't remember what the exchange rate is. I'm obviously pretty close, but maybe you get a little more from them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do that. It's totally legal. So
with Gesara is for global. Nesara is for us nationally.
National.
Basically, the U.S. getting into a funk is causing the rest of the world to be in a funk.
Well, yeah, we're a major player within the economic world. Here, let me read some of the stuff.
Read some facts, DG.
Yeah. Well, I just want to read some of the stuff off because it's like
it's interesting to me because I had never heard of it, and it sounds interesting.
It does.
But like I said, how do you do that?
How do you get it started, right?
Yeah.
How is this ever going to be implemented?
It's way easier because we have cryptocurrency and stuff like that now.
Bitcoin shit. Is that what you're getting
Ethereum, Tron, Bitcoin. All the different currencies.
So it's the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. Nesara, right? So it says this is kind of a breakdown of the things it's going to implement and change. Nesara implements the following changes and others. Zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt.
That's right.
See, my question is, how do they do that? That's all private transactions.
Yeah, so how can any government agency...
Because it's not on... We're no longer on the dollar, the Federal Reserve note. And that's what I was telling you guys. America was bought a long time ago, and this is why it allows this to happen.
And then the next one is it abolishes the income tax.
Income tax. No more income tax.
Creates a 14% flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax. So here's the thing I thought was pretty... This should already be happening. If you've paid taxes on a brand new car that you bought, why do you have to pay taxes on it again when you sell it?
Oh, wait,
It's used.
I have bought stuff on eBay recently. Old tiki mugs that are 20, 30 years old that have been bought a long damn time ago.
Yeah.
And somebody's in their private collection, or they end up whatever.
Yeah.
You buy it. I've got to pay tax on it.
I don't get that.
I'm paying tax. I think it's maybe just state sales tax.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
still
not sure,
it's still part of the corruption in the system.
Yeah. Why am I paying tax on something that the tax has already been paid on?
How many times can they tax?
Yeah, or you bought. Let's
That's
say
why
you buy a
property
car
taxes are bullshit.
You buy a
you
car
think
that's
about it.
had 4 other owners, and each one of those owners has paid for the sales tax on that fucking car.
Right. So here it creates a 14% flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes.
Yeah, it's not a new home.
An old home. Increases benefits to senior citizens. Now it doesn't elaborate how that, and you know, I guess you have to read into it more. But and then returns constitutional law to all courts.
Yeah, so what I read about that is like they use Florida as an example, and Florida has like 1,200 government employees. They go from like a treasurer of this town, mayor of this town, right? Then you have congressmen, senators, a governor, treasurer. You have all these positions that are filled.
Okay.
It basically breaks them down to 12 individuals, not 1,200. It's 12.
So no more like county government.
No more
then
like
state government.
No
then
more
federal.
DMV. No, they're cutting all the fat out. Like DMV, I think they said something about there was something in there about smogging your car though. Like you have to continue to make sure you.
Well, of course, environmental shit.
Yeah, but I mean that. I like to stick to the big stuff because you can go off track. I mean, we want to get into Nesara, just read about it.
Yeah, so returns constitutional law to all courts. Well, I thought constitutional law was supposed to be that.
I thought that's what our criminal system was based on in the first place, right?
Unfortunately, the United States we only have a Supreme Court that goes for all of the United States. Each state has its own Supreme Court.
And that's if they don't like the ruling, they can appeal.
Yeah, and
the ruling at the
will
lower
be gone.
court.
All that shit's gone. No more California.
I honestly believe there's too much, like with some judging, right? There's too much personal. I think it should be like this.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah.
The law is written, and you're there to enforce the law.
The Supreme Court is a perfect example of that because you've got conservatives and liberals.
Yeah,
and
everybody's worried
conservatives
about
and liberals see, for example, guns differently. So
This is what Nesara does also is it eliminates all the bullshit each state has, and we're under one blanket. So if weed's legal, it's legal everywhere.
Yeah.
If you have a machine gun, you can have a machine gun everywhere. It's not you cross this imaginary line from California to Nevada and now you can have 30-round clips.
Okay, so say this though. Say
it's magazines.
Yeah, I know.
No, I know a lot of guys say it that way, but I say clips.
Oh God. So okay, you made that statement right now where we're under one blanket.
Yeah.
Well, what if that blanket chooses to take a law the way you don't want it?
Unfortunately, that's going to happen, man. I mean,
you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like, who says that one blanket protects your Second Amendment? That's what we should.
I think it's based on common law, and it's different from martial law. But common law, I know that 9/10 is possession is considered 9/10
of the law.
9/10 of the law. Yeah. Okay. So like when they wipe out all the credit card debt.
What does that even mean? I mean, really, what does that even mean? If I leave something here at your house,
it's like,
and then I tell you I want it, you say no, sorry, it's mine. I can't have it. And if I
have it, yeah. You own that 1/10 of it, but I have the 9/10 at the house, dude.
The 1/10 is just the idea that it could possibly be mine, but the other 9 are the fact that it's here at your house.
It's
in your
hope.
Possession.
It's hope. It's change, bro.
No.
Oh God.
So now, here's the next one. Monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups.
See, no more lobbyists. No more lobbying, dude.
Yeah.
Me or you should be able to go talk to our congressman just as easy as the fucking 76 or the mobile rep that goes and fucking feeds them money, dude.
When did elected officials become dictators and not servants of the people?
It evolved over time. Something happened, and they started getting power and
when you read up on it,
it's money.
John Kennedy was the first one that was going to enact this stuff, and they fucking waxed him, dude. If you read up on Nesara, that's when it first started.
Okay. Creates a new U.S. Treasury currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, which is what our whole money system used to be based on, right?
Yeah.
It used to always be backed with gold.
They changed it to a reserve note, though, like in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Whenever the Titanic wrecked.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, and I was like, it fucking scrambled my brain. I was like, okay, it does not compute.
It's still conspiracy stuff.
Okay,
I have to pee really bad right now, so listening to that is making me. I'm concentrating on how bad I have to pee, and then listening to him, I'm like, I'm boggled right
Dude,
now.
we got like 5 more minutes, or
So
if you want to break out, we could talk about you while you go pee.
I'm gonna stay right here.
So I don't know. I mean, that's the basics of it, right? That's like an outline of it. How the hell that ever gets implemented is.
I don't know how they talk about eliminating that debt, because it's how are you gonna say, okay, sorry, we decided that Kevin doesn't owe you for what he bought from you. So
Yeah,
sorry, your shit.
The contract he signed that he's purchasing this from you for 30.
And this is where the problem is. There's 99% of us that are in debt, right?
Yeah.
Some form of debt.
Yeah.
Well, you have that 1% that owns all of the debt, right? Well, if all those people that are owning all the debt are doing treasonous shit, they're molesting kids, pedophilia, all that kind of stuff, they get taken down. Then all their debt they have goes back to us, and that's how they monetize it or get it good. Like, remember we were talking about we owe like $27 trillion in debt.
Yeah, to the world.
The world, yeah.
Yeah, our national debt or whatever you want to call it.
But the biggest debt we owe is to ourselves.
Our own citizens. Yeah, I did some research on that. Everybody talks about, we're so deep in debt to China.
Yeah.
So we have a $27 trillion national debt right now. Less than $1 trillion of that is owed to China.
Really?
Less than $1 trillion of it. And,
wow.
And I didn't go from one source and go, there's the facts. Different base sources to read up on it, and
it's all the same.
That is a what do you want to call it? Not a warmongering thing, but like it's a narrative being thrown out there that we're in debt to China so bad that they own us, and
that's something I don't understand how that works. I mean, like how do we have this debt to other countries? Why?
When we give other countries money all the time, we just gave away like fucking $8 billion, like.
Well, how do we owe other countries though if we're giving away so much money? That's what I don't get.
Yeah,
I mean, we're giving so much help, so much assistance, or whatever, or I don't know. I get irritated with it, and and that's why I can't follow it and understand this stuff, because
it's frustrating.
It's not because I don't understand it. It's because it makes me. It's frustrating. It makes me so irritated to read this stuff and hear that this is happening, and I'm like. This just doesn't make sense, man.
Okay,
if I was in debt $150,000, I'm not going to loan you $20,000.
Right. No, it's a good point.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's the way I see it. If I can't afford my life, I'm not going to help you with yours. Sorry, but first.
Here's and it should be America first. Ooh.
Racist. No, this show will never be seen. This show will never be seen.
So. Here's the problem with that is the people making these decisions up here to throw this money out to other people who probably need it or don't need it. They're not the ones who the money's coming from.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right?
How about $10 million for gender studies in Iraq, dude?
That's
it
absolutely
wasn't Iraq.
necessary.
That was
It was Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
it was
Yes.
something like that. So
Pakistan. Maybe
that's what it was. It was
Pakistan.
Pakistan. It was Pakistan.
It's
Yeah.
still like that type of money is just crazy, man. And if you really look back when Bill Clinton took office, the United States government was in debt $800 million. Check it out, 800 million.
Really?
Now we're 27 trillion in debt.
I thought it was already in the trillions when
No.
he took off.
No.
I
No.
thought he.
I checked it out, man.
I thought he
You know.
balanced things out for a while or fixed things or something.
Here's
I know-
how they
I
prove
know
to
he
you.
was good fiscally.
Here's how I prove to you, though,
Yeah.
they
My
don't need
plan
our
is-
tax money. The tax game, income tax and IRS, that's all bullshit, right? Because we don't take our taxes and say, hey, this is our budget, this is what we got to spend this year.
Yeah.
We don't do that. There's no way we're going to collect $27 trillion from everybody in the United States. It's not going to happen, man.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened is it's swung out so far that we're going to be like a third world or a shithole country where our money is
Just
worth
crashes.
nothing.
It's worth shit.
So they have to at some point fucking.
Cut it.
And with digital currency, like I haven't got a check forever, dude. It always just goes into my bank account.
Right. Direct deposit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you no longer see that paper trail.
Yeah.
And then you use a card when you go buy shit.
Yeah.
So cash is going to be gone.
Yeah.
And you see that even up here in the hills, some of the stores say, "Hey, exact change," or like if I bought a beer and it was $3.50, right? If I don't have the 50 cents, they keep it. They keep the other 50
because they were
cents.
talking about something with the actual
Yep.
hard change currency was a problem to get.
Yeah. So I was like, "Fuck that! Let me buy something else for 75 cents."
You know, when we were in Iraq, they came out with these little. It was a pogs. We called them
Oh, yeah.
pogs, but they were currency, right? Because it cost more money to ship change over there on these airplanes.
Oh.
It cost more money to send the money over there than it was the
Okay.
value of the money because of the weight.
Because the weight of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they were like, we had to come back. When we came back, you had a bunch of pogs or whatever that you were, buying soap and shit at the PX or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you came back, you turned those in and got your money back.
That's like old school Pizza Palace had those wooden cones.
I remember that
for
shit.
drinks.
I still have one of those. It
Do you
says,
really?
It's where is it? I gotta think where that thing is. I know I've got one somewhere.
Yeah,
I
they would say
remember
like
those,
one
dude.
drink,
Yeah.
or a hard drink, or
Yeah.
draft
Yeah.
beer, whatever.
Yeah.
I
It's like a
remember
little
that shit.
wooden coin or something.
Yep. Yep.
Dig that shit. War over, man. So
All right.
I think we crushed it. I think we
That's
hit every
fun.
topic, man. Unless you got something else you want to spit out there, or you want to say what's up to somebody, man.
No, thanks for joining us, man. Because it makes
Leave
it.
it.
It's
Love
it's
it.
cool.
Fun, man. It's a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, it's cool. Like having 3 different views on stuff.
I appreciate it, man.
It's just fun to sit here and talk with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we make a couple $1 million off every show we do, so.
That's cool, man. I like that. You can help out a lot of people with that money.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the lotto's like at $1 billion, $500 million or something.
Did
now.
it? Still nobody won it? I know it was like 400 something last week or something like that.
My wife said she just hit the mega for $4.
Get the 26 annual payments,
Hey, you
bro.
ever heard that joke? Real quick joke. The guy goes, "Hey, if we ever win the lotto, we're splitting it in half." And he's telling his wife, "You can get the fuck out." So she goes, "Hey, I won the lotto. Here's your $2. Get the fuck out."
That's my shit.